All right. Against my better judgment, welcome back to the Morning Vibe. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been tuning in over on the Cameron Ron channel, you guys know full well my buddies are down from Florida. I've got the guys down here on our annual guide trip. This is the 12th edition, right, that we decided earlier in the week that we're looking at our 12th edition of our annual guys trip. We've been friends for a long, long time. And tonight we're going to sit around and we're going to tell some stories, which I'm going to be honest, I feel like it's a terrible idea. I know it was my idea, but I do feel like it was a terrible idea. They were fine 30 seconds ago before the camera came on, and now everyone is shut down. Like, we were burping and farting, and
you were talking.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, I'll let you go. What do you want to talk about? You go ahead. And this all started, in case you guys didn't know, Caleb and I grew up together. Caleb and I are first cousins. Our moms are mothers. Mike and Jerry are first cousins. Or second cousins? First cousins. So they grew up together. Jerry and Caleb met 13, 14 years ago, something like that. Yep. And then we all kind of started our little clique, and we've all been friends ever since. So, but we originally came to Florida on our initial guys trip for Caleb's bachelorette party. And yes, I said bachelorette party. They wanted to call it a bachelor party, but given the events of how that went, it was a bachelorette party. Basically, on that very first trip, we realized that large men were sexually attracted to Caleb when we went to bars.
No,
not me, not just me. I mean, I was.
Do you not remember that picture?
You got to hold your microphone a little bit closer.
Do you not remember the picture?
I do remember the picture.
What did you say?
That was like the second or third one, though. Oh yeah. So
the one you're like on top of.
That's a good one. So yeah, the very first year we went on the guys trip, I full mounted Caleb. We had clothes on, just to make sure we're keeping it PG here. We had clothes on.
You had underwear on.
No, I was wearing a t-shirt. I was 100% wearing a t-shirt. Yes, I was. I remember the picture vividly.
I said underwear. I know.
Oh, well, I mean, I hope you think I had underwear on, but did I? That's the question. It was the sexiest picture I've ever taken of myself. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had met Jerry.
Well, maybe.
No, go ahead.
I was.
You got to hang on. I got to turn your microphone up a little bit more. Hang on. All right, hit me with it.
I mean, maybe the sexiest picture that you've taken with us there, but I could think of one other one that you sent to us.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute too. That was a good picture. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know what's going on. I hear dogs barking. We are doing this outside around a campfire. We didn't want to do it in the comfort of the office. We thought it'd be better to come out here and do it. So if you hear dogs barking and cars driving by and all that kind of stuff, that is why. So when we went on the first man trip, we're just gonna kind of roll it back and tell some stories. And I'll go first because I think the very first man trip we went on, I think I'd met Jerry, golly, maybe twice. But we had played games. Mike
wasn't on that one.
Mike wasn't there for the first one. Mike didn't show up till season 2. But we had all been playing like Call of Duty together regularly, so we knew each other. I just hadn't met Jerry very many times, and I'd told Caleb what I was going to do. So when we got to the hotel, Jerry had went into the bathroom or stepped out on the balcony to call his wife. I can't remember exactly where he went, but when he came back, I was literally laying there in a G-string thong like this right here, and I'm like, sorry, bro, this is how I sleep. And Jerry just kind of shrugged it off and got in bed, and I was like, well, we're going to be friends forever now. Like, that's never going to go away for sure.
No, Jerry said he was going to sleep in the bathroom.
No, he climbed right in bed with me. You got to hold your microphone a little closer. I can't hear you.
When you came out and you heard us all giggling, you kind of like peeked around the corner and you were looking. And as soon as you saw him just laying in the bed, because it was like the closest bed to the bathroom, you just like, I'm just going to stay in here. No.
Well, either way, that led to a lot. You had a terrible experience.
Wait a second, what did it lead to?
Yeah, I was going to say before we made it.
You got to hold your microphone closer to your mouth.
Before we made it to that point.
Yeah. Jerry got started off on a bad note.
Yeah, because we traveled. We started out the day. We got down there late. Traveled 10 hours. It was kind of late, so there wasn't a lot of place open to eat. So we went to this little diner. And
wait, before you go any further, the cook 100% had Tourette's. And I'm not knocking anybody with Tourette's. We thought he was joking, and he was not. Like we found out later, he literally had Tourette's. It was because we thought he was joking. It was very awkward. But then when we realized he really did have Tourette's, we felt kind of bad. But then go ahead.
But so we went in there. It was me, Ron, and Caleb, and another friend of ours, Bud, and the three of them got a burger. I decided to go with the chicken sandwich, and so they took our order, went back. It was about 20 minutes later. They brought the food out, and they gave each of them their burger, and then they tell me that they were out of chicken.
The waitress never once came out before the food was ready and be like, hey, just want to let you know we're out of chicken. Would you like to eat anything else? No, they waited till they brought the hamburgers out. And then they told Jerry, oh, by the way, we don't have any chicken. Would you like to order something else? Well, I mean, we had our food on the table at this point. And number one, I've always been fluffy like this, in case you guys are wondering. And I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want Jerry to eat by himself. This bacon cheeseburger was really good. I'm like, give me another bacon cheeseburger. And I can't remember what you ordered after that.
Burger.
Yeah, and he got him a burger too. And then they finally brought your food out. But if we hadn't ordered anything else, we would have been long done before you ever got your food that night.
Yeah.
And then we were walking. Mike wasn't there for this. We were walking back to the hotel, and I don't remember if I tripped or what happened, but somehow or another, we hadn't even been drinking that night. We hadn't even started drinking yet, and I tripped or something, and my burger fell out right on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I'd only eaten like 2 or 3 bites of it. It was terrible.
Yeah, that was a sad moment for you.
Anytime I lose food, the only thing that could have been more catastrophic is if I dropped cheese balls.
I never seen you more upset either. To be honest with you, when you dropped that hamburger,
It was a good hamburger.
And that's saying something, considering all the stuff that's happened to us, like on these man trips. That is saying something to say that I'd never been more upset than.
it's saying you're fat. That's what it is.
I guess
and that's coming from me.
Hey, I identify as skinny. How about that?
Me too.
Me too. Me too. So
My wife says though that doesn't work like that.
It's Sarah says all the time that she's been in this marriage for 20 years and it's a lot of work for a little meat. That's what she says pretty regularly. I'm like, hey, I'm not saying you're wrong, but 100% you could be onto something there. So if we roll back the clock, I think every man trip has been pretty memorable. They have progressively gotten longer over the years. I think the first year we went down for Caleb's bachelor party, I believe we were only there for actually 2 nights.
We got there Thursday night.
Yeah, got there late Thursday night, and we were there Friday. So we were there technically 3 nights, but we were only there for 2 full days, which was Friday and Saturday. And that was Caleb's bachelor party. I remember vividly, we bought him a pink helmet. What all did he have to wear on the way down for his bachelor party? Like, we made him wear all that, and he had a glove. Oh,
we put a condom on.
Made him put a condom
hand.
on his hand, and anywhere he went into a store, he had to wear the helmet. He had to wear the condom on his hand.
Fake teeth.
And the fake teeth. Yeah, that's what it was. And
I just optionally came with a shirt that says, I can't hear you over how awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Which really completed the whole thing.
We didn't really tell him to wear any type of specific shirt.
The funny thing is that we continued to wear it throughout the guy trip. We only told him he had to wear it down there, but
felt safe, felt
but
right.
It didn't matter. Caleb wore the same outfit for the guy trip for the first 6 years. Remember,
we never really noticed it until we were looking at pictures.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, Jerry will typically start texting me about 3 weeks before the guy trip. We all text regularly. We have a group chat that would be extremely incriminating if we all ever decided to not be friends anymore. But we won't do that. So
Ron gives crappy high fives.
Well. It's a whole other story. I mean, for the record, we'll get to that. That was probably year 5 or 6. There was one
your YouTube channel. I don't think we will be getting to that.
Yeah, we'll get to it. It'll be fine. I don't mind. We'll get to the gist of that story, anyways. We'll say that. If we're being honest, there's really only one major story that sticks out from the first year, and that was the shot glass. Jerry and I went out to Spencer's 2 or 3 weeks before Caleb went out. We were before Caleb's bachelor party. And I'm going to keep this as PG as possible. I hope you guys are not. Don't let your kids watch this one. If your kids are watching, make them leave the room right now. We're not going to curse, but we're going to talk about some stuff that if they know, they know. So we went out and we got Caleb a shot glass, and it said, I eat like a fat kid eats cake. Yep. We got in that. We're like, anything you drink, whether it's beer, bourbon, whatever, you've got to drink it out of this shot glass. So we ended up meeting a couple right after we got down there, and we were hanging out with them or whatever, and Caleb was getting ready to have a beer, and I'm like, no. I'm like, you got to go get your shot glass. And Caleb's like, I don't want to go back to the room. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you don't have to drink it, but you've got to tell them what it says. And he got twisted over his words, and he's like, I eat, and it's female anatomy, in case you guys haven't figured that out. He's like, I eat like a kid eats fat cakes. And Jerry and I just lost. We're like, what's a fat cake? But that was the most memorable thing, I think, from year 1 for sure.
I heard a lot of other stories from that first year.
What you're gonna have to remind me because I really can't. Like I don't remember everything.
Around hot tub stories.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Blue. You better get your boy, Blue. So I thought you were there for that though. Was that not?
I was not there.
Okay, I was thinking I was going to tell that story in year 2.
Yeah,
So
I thought it was when Mike was there too.
yeah, maybe not. So we were the hotel we stayed at. We originally started. We were going to Panama City Beach. You look like you got to chime in on something. Go ahead.
No, I just feel like our relationship started way before this.
Oh, for sure. That's what I said. You and I grew up
Let's
together.
talk about the first time that you betrayed me.
No, we'll get
No, hold on.
We're
Shh.
no,
Your
we're
audience wants to know.
we're sticking to guy trip
No,
stuff.
let's really start the scene, okay? You want to go into like, hey, this is what Caleb's like. Let's really talk about my formative years, okay? You know, when I was a child, trusting, believed, and
For the
people
record,
told
I was
me.
like 13 when this happened.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes it totally okay. You didn't know any better.
Well, come on. If you're going to tell it,
No,
you're eating that time.
when you took me bear hunting. You remember that?
I
Let's
do.
tell your audience
I
how it was.
do.
What I do.
They're going to think this is hilarious. I can't believe you want to tell this story. I'm fine with this.
It is funny.
How old are you now?
It's so funny.
How are you?
I'm 35.
You're 35, so you're 8 years younger than me, so you were probably about 5 because I was about 13. Go ahead and tell the story. I mean, if you're going to bring it up, you got to tell the story. I don't want to do all the talking.
That's fine. I don't mind telling it.
Go ahead.
So I was a young, beautiful child.
Strapping young man.
Not even that.
Oh,
Still had, trust in my eyes, innocent. And I'm going to tell you guys about the time that I lost all that.
You got to talk faster. We're going to run out of time.
No, I need the audience to really woo into this, okay? Here's the deal, all right? So, I'm over there.
We lived on
At
a
my
farm.
Yes, you lived on a farm.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a farm was because I was so young. But
You
anyways,
were 5.
yeah. Anyways, they decided to take me bear hunting.
No. If we're going to tell it, we're going to tell the truth.
That was the
Caleb,
truth.
no. Caleb and his brother begged us the entire weekend they were there to take them bear hunting. We didn't decide anything. They begged us to
For the
take them
record,
bear
I
hunting.
thought a bear was a Care Bear. Like at the time, like when
actually
we
makes
talk,
a lot of sense.
Yeah, when we take I want to go find a Care Bear. Yeah, absolutely. Like I could find the one with the heart on it that gives hugs. Like so, they tell me we're gonna go
gummy bears.
bear hunting. Yeah, exactly. Those are delicious. But they were telling me we were gonna go bear hunting, and I was all for it. And he's like, "Well, you wanted to."
You did.
Yeah.
Finish telling the story so we can move back to
They
the man
took me
trip.
out, and then my uncle dressed up in a black or a brown
Brown.
sheet and
Comforter.
yeah, a comforter. He's a big dude. Jumped out of the trees.
No, the cornfield. The cornfield.
It's very hazy to me. I can't hardly remember it because I think I blocked a lot of it out. But he jumps out and he scares me. My brother drops his BB gun, so they didn't give us a chance to shoot him for doing this.
And they weren't loaded at
Yeah.
all.
No, absolutely zero chance. He takes off running. Of course, I don't know what's going on. I'm looking for, like Love Bear, and I find Big Brown Bear. Like,
It was
and
just
a giant
my,
scream.
It was just my
and I
uncle
just- yeah.
dressed up.
Well, I don't know. Like at this point, like everybody's gone. I'm standing there. This giant shadow is over top of me, and I just pee everywhere, just completely,
All over himself.
all over myself. I don't even
Literally-
know that. I think I passed out.
Literally pissed his pants. It scared him so bad. And we legit felt bad about it. But I mean,
you've laughed nonstop.
in all fairness, that was more my dad and Sam than it was me. I was only 13 at the time. I mean, I was definitely a willing participant, but
Disavows, doesn't he?
but yeah, we did
I had no hand in that.
we did like 100% make Caleb pee himself when he was 5.
You know
which
why
is-
I even remember that story?
Probably because it terrified you.
No, because you keep telling me about it.
I mean,
He felt bad though. Everybody. He felt really bad.
I did feel really bad about it. But back to the man trip, and I will tell you guys, like a lot of these stories are going to revolve around Caleb and I. They just do. There's definitely a few on Mike and Jerry, but first year on the man trip,
How about we tell them about that time you took me to a race car?
We'll get. Oh, we dude, we don't have time for that for sure.
Yeah.
And we gotta
there's-
keep it PG.
Yeah, there's no way to keep that story PG. We would have to do that on a whole other.
So many times I got abandoned.
a whole other level. So we had all been sitting around the hot tub down at the hotel. It was a giant hot tub. It's like what 30, 40 people sit in that hot tub. That's fair. And it was the Days Inn down there at Panama City Beach, and we were staying in the old hotel that was right next to it, but they shared the pool at the time. And there was this old dude sitting over there in the lawn chair at the end of the hot tub, and this guy all day long has just been minding his own business. I mean, he's obviously been drinking a lot throughout the course of the day, but he had never really bothered anybody. Like he was just sitting there doing his thing. So he'd been smashing beers all day. And it was probably like 10 o'clock at night, 10:30. Me and Caleb and Jerry. Bud was not with us. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Our other friend Bud, he was not with us for that at that point in the evening. But all of a sudden, this dude just jumps up and takes off running like somebody hit him with a hot stick. I don't know what possessed him, but he'd obviously not been up for a little while. And when he jumped up and took off running, he didn't account for the lip that goes around the edge of the pool. And he never tried to step over it. He never tried to avoid it. He just hit it. And when he hit it, he face planted the handrail that goes down into the pool and slashed his head open. Well, there's like 2 women in the hot tub with us. There was more than that, but there's these 2 in particular women, and both of them are smashed, right? And they're like, "Don't worry, we're a nurse. We'll go help him." So they go over there and they're like doctoring him up or whatever. And I get, we've all went back to like, crushing beer. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, this dude comes up and like grabs Caleb like this from behind him. And he's like, "It's all right, baby. Don't you worry about me, baby. I'm going to be just fine."
Once again, I was a young man, innocent.
Caleb's going to stick to this theme of
I didn't do nothing to nobody.
ain't nobody tell me nothing.
I'm just sitting there, young guy in his early 20s, and then just get assaulted.
I just got assaulted.
And he told me everything was going to be all right, but I didn't believe him.
We to this day we have no idea why that guy came up.
I
and
mean,
actually,
there was a lot of
He
people
really
in the
latched
hot
on to
tub,
me, too.
too.
He made eye contact. I'm like looking up, and he just started talking to me like we knew
because
each
look,
other.
you got to picture this, okay? Caleb's sitting down in a hot tub. This dude's standing up over it, so all Caleb could do is like, he's just like staring up at this guy like, what?
And he's telling me everything's going to be all right, and I'm like, is this
And
a
it did
sign?
not feel like it at the time, did it?
I felt like nothing was going to be all right for him. Like, you're going to have a really bad headache. Like,
Yeah,
you've already
he
busted your head open.
certainly
and he
did.
did eat the lip of that pool like a kid eats Snickers. Like, I swear, like a
It was like something that you would, if you hadn't saw it and you saw a video of it, you would swear that it was fake and staged. Like, honestly, it was that, because you know how sometimes you see somebody like on these epic fails videos or whatever they're doing, and you're like, there's no way that's real. Like, they had to have faked that in order for him to have been that like nonchalant about the lip. And he ran right to it. I mean, he didn't even try to miss it.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
he literally hit it. When he jumped up, he looked like he was like looking in a different direction. But you know,
Yeah.
when you're dizzy, and he was like looking over this way, thinking he's going that way, but he went that way, and then he just like hit really bad, and then he
Yeah.
was just floating in the pool, and someone's like, "Go get your boy, Blue!"
Forgot about that. Go get your boy, Blue.
Yeah, and some people ran over and grabbed him.
Mike, what other stories we got from that first year? We've shared all these with each other a million times, but we've never shared them publicly. So you're welcome.
I remember an old lady rubbing your guys' chest.
That was definitely not year one.
Where was I at?
You were there.
I was not at
You
the
were
pool.
not. You were not down in the hot tub with us, but
'Cause
that
it
was not
just,
year
yeah,
one.
It was just me and dude.
It was just me and Jerry that was in the hot tub, but that was certainly
Yeah.
not year one. That was a few years later. And the only reason I know that is because we were actually staying at the Days Inn
Yeah,
at that
the-
point
yeah.
when that happened.
Gotcha.
So the 2 hotels we stayed at down there, one of them was like Paradise Palms or something like that. I thought it was Pirate something, but you guys were right. It was like Paradise Palms or something like that. That one got tore down, but they had shared a pool with the Days Inn. So when they closed that hotel, we just started staying over at the Days Inn. But that did happen. I'll let you tell that story. Well, I'll definitely let you tell it, and I'll chime in from. I guess this was probably like year 4 or 5, but I mean we can
like
we can bounce around.
midday, early afternoon
Yeah.
or so. We
were sunburnt.
Yeah, we were sunburnt from the day before, but we're just laying in the hot tub. I think I don't know about you, but me, I had my eyes closed and I was just like had my arms out,
Yeah,
and I was just like
we were
looking
in
up
that
and-
relaxation part of the day.
Yeah. Next thing I know, I just feel like someone touched my chest, and I kind of opened up my eyes, and then I like look over at you, and you're looking at me, and then we turn and look, and there's an older lady.
Yeah, way older.
Yeah.
For the record, the reason why they were looking at each other is because they suspected it was them.
100%,
But yeah,
100%,
It was my friend
because-
touching my chest, because that's not normal.
Yeah, I mean but that's just the kind of stuff we do. I mean, so I was I don't know who it happened to first, but I was like, I felt a hand on my chest, and immediately I thought it was Jerry. So I don't even look down at the hand in my
Pretty sure it was,
chest.
like at the same time.
Yeah,
because
so
she-
maybe so, because I look over at Jerry and I'm expecting to look at him and be like, "Bro, what are you doing?" But when I look at Jerry, I
That's
also
not what you would've said.
I also see a hand on his chest, which tells me at that point I knew it wasn't my hand. And then I made eye contact with Grandma. And what was the weirdest part about that was her husband.
Yeah.
He's like sitting back and he's just like, I'm like, bro, your wife is rubbing our chest. And she's like, you boys look so sunburned. I was like, wow. I'm like, I don't even know what to say right now.
He was hoping you would say yes.
Well, he did not get his hopes and dreams come true. That is for certain.
Don't worry, I'll watch.
And then, so I guess there's a couple. Most of our stories revolve around bathrooms.
No, not most of our stories.
Most of my stories.
Most of yours, yeah.
You know, from that point though, we never forgot sunblock again.
No,
I'm
we definitely didn't. There was never a time where we did not put sunblock on after that. We should have learned the first year. We told you about our buddy Bud. The first year, it was cloudy, and none of us had really been spent that much time in Florida at that point. That was long before the PYT and I moved here. We got probably the worst sunburn any of us have ever had that year, and it was cloudy, so we didn't even put on sunscreen.
We will have to come back to sunscreen too.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Actually, quite a few stories with sunscreen.
Yeah. But Bud, he got really burned. Bud had probably not seen the light of day, and Bud's a lot closer to you than any of us. He's not an outdoors person, right? So
he wants to be.
He wants to be really. He did not want to be that year because
we went camping a couple of weekends ago.
Okay, nice. So he got so sunburned on this trip. He went in and he laid in bed the entire. Like I said, we were only there 2 nights. Friday mornings when we got really bad sunburn. He went to bed on Friday at 3:00. Had the windows drawn in the room, and we did not see Bud until about 9:00 on Saturday night. He literally hung out in the room for the whole night Friday night and all day on Saturday. So
he missed the fat cakes encounter.
He did. He missed the fat cakes encounter for sure. What's your sunscreen shorts? I can't.
I don't know if it's my story, but the first year I was down there, I think it was the first year.
They all run together.
Caleb was putting sunscreen on, and he asked you to put
I wasn't putting it on.
Well, I think you started putting it on.
You put it on your whole body.
Yeah.
Well, again, I was just a young man.
Oh my gosh! Here we go. Yeah, go ahead and tell the story, Mike. You fire on it because you definitely know all that one.
Okay, so for some reason he asked dude to, I think, spray his back or something. So dude sprayed his back. And dude
with
is
sunscreen.
Ron.
With sunscreen.
Touch me.
Yeah, so he goes and he's like, just spray my face. So dude said...
With sunscreen.
Also with sunscreen, yes.
So dude says, close your...
No, I just said, well, turn around. He's turned around and he said, spray my face.
Yeah, so he's sitting there, and then all of a sudden, dude goes to spray and he opens up his mouth.
For no reason whatsoever. He's like, will you spray my face? And I'm like, yeah. So he turns around and he closes his eyes. No, I told him to close his eyes.
There you go.
He was looking at me and I was like, you need to close your eyes. And as soon as he did, he just goes, and I instinctively I hit the button. It was really not my fault, and it just straight in his mouth. And then he's like, "What'd you do?" I'm like, "Bro, why did you open your mouth?" And luckily everybody was standing there, so I was not guilty on that one.
No, that's your version of things.
I know you were just a young helpless man.
That's right.
So across the street from our hotel,
I'm the youngest one, by the way, in this group. So. They've got no excuses.
Yeah, we have more experience than you in everything. So, but across the street from both of the hotels was a little place called Sweet Dreams Karaoke Bar. Obviously, a very near and dear place to all of our hearts. We've had probably the first 6 or 7 years of the man trip. That was the place. No matter what, on Friday night we went there, and that's when we had drinks and we had a really good time. And whether most of my bad stories from the man trip comes from that bar. And from bathroom incidents.
Bad?
Good stories, too.
Good stories, too.
What was your bad experience?
Well, I'm talking about the bathroom.
Oh.
The whole bathroom situation. Hey, Oreo, you want to come visit us on the podcast here? So I will start with if we're going to get into the bad stuff that's happened, that was completely self-inflicted. I don't want to blame anybody else for this. This was 100% my fault. We went to have dinner. I wanted to do this in chronological order, but it's almost impossible because after 12 years, they all just kind of run together. They really do. We've had such a good time in our friends group. But one year, I don't remember what year it was, we went to Pineapple Willie's like we did. It was kind of Fridays was the only day on the man trip that was always pre-planned. And it was, correct me if I'm wrong, pretty much every Friday, We would do something really light for lunch, like a pizza or something like that. And then we would inevitably always go to Pineapple Willie's down on Thomas Drive. And then we would make our way back up to the hotel. And we parked at the hotel and walked over to Sweet Dreams. That's why we liked the place so much, is because we could go over there and drink as much as we wanted to. And we walked back to the hotel. So,
I was the designated walker.
yeah, Jerry doesn't drink much. This was back before, Ubers
He's
and
German.
Lyfts and
It
all
doesn't
that.
matter if he drinks. He never
Right.
gets drunk.
So that's why we did, how we did it. So we left Pineapple Willie's, and I when we walk out of the parking lot, if you've never been to Pineapple Willie's, you literally walk right past the bathroom to get back to the parking lot. Well, I looked over there, and there was like one dude standing in line for the bathroom, and I had to go to the bathroom a little bit, but not major. So I'm like, I'm fine. In my mind, I'm like, I'm fine. I can make it back to the hotel. So we get in the car. Well, the second I sit in the car, I realize I have to go to the bathroom really bad. Well, I'm like,
There was also a guy peeing on the wall.
I was getting ready. Yeah. And then also we look up, and right in front of us, there's a dude peeing on the wall in front of us. And I'm like, haha, it would be funny if I went over there and just, because it was not peeing that I needed to do. Let's stress that.
I'm
like,
like, 1 to 10, how bad do you have to go?
It was, at that point, it was only like a 7.
It's still pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. Again, full responsibility falls on me. Nobody made this decision for
Out
me.
of 8.
Out of 10.
Out of 10. Yeah.
70% had to go.
Yes, exactly.
30% he could make it.
I was dilated like 7
Let's be
centimeters.
honest. Would you really bet on those odds?
No. Again, totally my fault. So I'm like, I get in the car, and I'm like, it hit me at that point. I'm like, I should go back up here and go to the bathroom. And then I'm like, nah, we're only like a 4 or 5 minute drive from the hotel. I'm like, I can make it to the hotel.
Before we finish this, should we actually? Because I mean, the place did close down. Do we want to?
Yeah, that's
we want
fine.
to
He's
incriminate
kidding. He's
ourselves.
Yeah, we're gonna give it. I'm just gonna go full bore on this one.
Okay.
So we get in the car. Well, traffic was a little bit heavy. This was in May, so it wasn't really the main spring break time of the year. It really wasn't into summer break. It was kind of that in between time, but it was still fairly busy. And traffic was bad enough that like it was taking us more than 4 or 5 minutes. Well, there used to be an Albans Island that sat on the corner. It was a big orange building. It looked like a little mountain or whatever, sat right across from the from the pier there. God love their hearts. They're no longer in business. The building's been tore down since. And I'm afraid I had something to do that with that, because that was the first place we got to that I could get to the bathroom. So I kid you not, I literally pull sideways in front of the front door. I'm driving the car. I pull sideways in front of the front door. I jump out and run inside, and I'm going to let them park the car. It was that serious at this point. I'm literally like running through the store, and the bathrooms are all the way in the very back corner of the store. Well, I get there, and there's caution tape up across the door, but the door's open. And I'm like, at that point, I had to make a decision in my life. It was either, am I going to embarrass myself out here in the middle of the store, or am I going to embarrass myself in this bathroom that's, out of order? I'm like, what's the worst that could possibly, be it being out of order?
For
Maybe-
the record, he did make the worst choice.
I did. I did not. In my opinion, I did not make the worst choice at that point. So I did not make the wrong choice. I made the best choice for me at that point. And what happened was, I'm in my mind, I'm like, a toilet stopped up, whatever. Well, I go in there, and it's not as simple as the toilets are stopped up. They are remodeling these bathrooms, and all of the toilets have been pulled except for one. There's no water connected to it whatsoever. What if the person that had to deal with this watches this podcast?
That's what
gonna
I
be
was
like,
saying.
"Hey,
It could have been me. I'm
Jerry
so
was
sorry.
asking if we wanted to incriminate
Yeah, I mean,
ourselves.
but you know what? It's like I
Is it
didn't.
a crime?
I didn't break any laws.
What's
So
the statute of limitations?
I don't know. It's probably
that's
it's
a
been at
great
least 10 years, so we're good. Okay.
Channel.
Yeah.
We need to know: is it illegal to poop in a toilet that's not functioning?
Doesn't even have water hooked up.
That's what it means.
No, it's one thing if it's not, because if it had water hooked up, there was a chance that it could have been there. I ended up going to, like, if you guys remember the Jackass movies back when they were like pooping in toilets that was sitting in the middle of the showroom floor, that's essentially what I did. But I was at least in a bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, on like, so for instance, let's say we went into like a Lowe's and we just used one of the display toilets. Is that against the law?
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, for one, it's indecent exposure because
But
you're
what if nobody
exposing
saw me?
yourself.
yeah, but what if nobody sees you?
I still don't think it's allowed.
No,
I didn't
we
say allowed.
yeah.
I mean, I know it's not allowed, but
Legality and what's
is
allowed
it
and
illegal?
established. Yeah, exactly. Is it public? Is it? Are you pooping in public when you do it in the store?
Yeah,
It's got. I mean, it would be.
that's
It
in
would
public. You're
it would-
literally
Yeah, it would
on the
have to. It
showroom
would have to
floor.
roll under like public indecency or something.
No, if nobody saw you.
Well, nobody saw. I mean, I was in a bathroom. Now, let's make sure we say that part. I was. 100%
I mean, it really
in a
doesn't matter
bathroom.
at this point. That toilet was not working.
I mean,
No,
I
and then
just think
literally
the
the next. This is not a joke. The next year, we went down there, and this building was gone.
That was- that was the last
they
straw.
tore
They
the
had had
whole
enough of
building
this.
down when we got back the next year. The building was completely gone. So, not my finest moment.
Wait, there was more to that
I
story,
just
but
think the
the
we
worst
ca-
part wasn't that.
we can't tell the
No,
worst
no,
part.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I think where you went wrong.
Oh,
was
yeah.
You should have called one of us.
There were so many choices.
Yeah,
we
because-
haven't
okay.
even got to that yet.
Yeah, because the what Mike's talking about is the fact that there was no working toilet means there was no toilet paper. Yeah, Oreo is work. That's not. Can you come get her, Sarah? Like, I don't know if you want to be on camera right now, but just toss her down, Caleb. Just put her down.
I'm
She'll
really
go away.
scared to like move too quickly.
No, you're fine. Here, I got her.
Okay.
I knew that's what was going to happen. That was awesome. All right, so we got producer Sarah back behind the camera. In case you guys aren't privy to that, Sarah always produces the podcast for me. So shout out to her. She's back there. But yeah, there was no
Being
toilet
held
paper,
hostage
so
there.
I only had one option at that point. You guys are looking at it right now. It's as bad as it was. So then I immediately after that happened, I ran across the street and I washed my hand.
You had more options. We were inside of a T-shirt place.
Bro, I could
You
not-
could have gotten a $1 T-shirt. Like
there was no time for that. I would have had to have left the bathroom.
you could have done a sort of like messed up walk of shame, walked literally
Hey,
out the
coulda-
door and grabbed something. Or
I was
you
just
could.
saying he could have called one of us, and
Been like-
we could have brought him in.
I think what
something.
it came down to is that dude was just in a series of making bad decisions and he wasn't done yet.
Because when he actually
Yeah,
when
that's-
he actually did call us, he was like across the street over at the
Right.
pier.
I call them back and they're like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I walked across the street to the pier because that's where I needed to go. I should have went there to begin with because I knew they had bathrooms, and that was only like all we would have to do was took a left instead of a right. But I was at a place in my life where I was not making sound. Every bad thing that's ever happened to me has happened in a bathroom. That's the truth.
And that sounds like something that would pop up in like a forensic files.
I mean, maybe so, maybe so. What other good stories do we have? We tell them all the time. Anybody feel free to chime in here.
The banana.
Yeah.
Is that PG?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So, yeah, we talked about it. He asked me earlier if we could talk about that. I'll let you tell the story. I mean, don't rely on me for it. You did that, so
Well, we were in our hotel room. Again, it's just normal, typical hotel room, and
Pretty sure that was my first year.
that was your first year, 100%.
so I think we just got back or something like that. We were getting ready to.
I
go
was in the
down.
bathroom.
We were going down to the beach. Everybody was kind of getting ready, and I think I already had my swimming trunks on and everything like that. And I grabbed the banana, and I was like, "I'll eat this on the way down." But I just jumped into bed and threw the covers over me, and I didn't really notice that. Like, I think either Mike or Ron stepped outside because they were spraying some sunblock on.
Ron stepped outside. Mike was in the corner.
And Mike kind of was hiding. He kind of stepped around the thing that the TV on and everything, and he was just switching out his shorts for his swim trunks. And so I was just laying there, and thought it would be funny. I just took the banana and kind of made a little tent, and. And then Caleb comes walking out, and he just turns and
It
looks.
was not.
No.
It was not a little tent. It was.
No,
it
it was
a
a fairly.
giant
It was,
tent.
it was a big banana. It was a really big. It's like one of those ones that you can't hardly believe. It's like and it's not like a curved banana. It was kind of like a straight one.
I mean, it actually might be better from Caleb's perspective because he can
Yeah,
let us
so-
know kind
so-
of what.
Oh, let me.
So Jerry
I'm
made
happy
the
to. I'm
so-
happy to elaborate.
Yeah, go
All
ahead
I
and-
walk out is I can't see Mike because he's behind the entertainment center. Dude is out of the place. He's out on the front porch, and so it's quiet. And I just put on my.
It's never quiet.
Yeah, exactly. It's very suspicious. And I come walking out, and when the way the bathroom was set up was the beds were sort of there's the wall, the bathroom comes
Yeah,
out.
it's like
and then-
every
yeah.
hotel. Like when you walk
And
out of the
beds are
bathroom, you're in the hallway,
yeah.
and then you got to walk around the corner to see the bed.
And the beds can't really be easily seen. So I come out, and I couldn't see Mike. So from everything I could tell, the room was completely empty, and I was daydreaming. Like I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking, oh, my friends might have left. My mind was somewhere else. I was thinking about something. And so I turn the corner, I start walking out, and all I see is Jerry, like laying in the bed with the covers pulled up to his neck. And he's just doing this, like, just like he looked euphoric.
You got to hold the microphone a little
to be
closer
honest
so
with
we
you,
can hear you.
I got to slide back up. He looked euphoric. He looked like, he was like asleep. And then I just traced down, and then there's just this massive,
The pup tent was for real. It was there.
Yeah, it was a huge banana. And there was a few thoughts that crossed my head, like lightning.
The
Which
first
was
one was
one that our friendship was forever changed. Because when you walk out and you catch your friend and it's happy time, like, there's no like undoing that,
No.
Like you've seen it, he knows you've seen it, and it is a bonding moment. Like
you look like you're reminiscing on this and being really happy about it right now.
No.
I was in prime viewing location, so I
but you
caught.
knew.
Yeah, I knew exactly.
knew.
I knew you were going to see it.
Yeah,
as
you knew
came
it was
out.
a banana.
It was more
Oh yeah,
Caleb's.
yeah. I knew.
I didn't.
It was Caleb's reaction that was the funniest part.
'Cause
What would you do?
It was like he seen a wreck. He was like, oh.
I did. I made a weird noise. Probably not an appropriate noise. Like,
Nah, Caleb only made one noise. He turned and he looked and he went, "Oh yeah." So
what I wanted to do was, in those moments, what you want to do is you want to find the right words to make everything okay.
I'm pretty sure your knees buckled a little bit.
yeah,
You just want to find the right thing to say
It's
to
like-
to make everything okay. But there's just nothing you can say if you walk in on somebody.
no, you're right. There's not.
Yeah.
100%. It's like in that situation, if that was real and it wasn't a banana, you're right. Your
I think
relationship
the
just changed.
best
forever.
thing I could have done, and I'm incapable of doing it.
The
is-
best thing you could have done is one of them just smacked it.
No, just act like I didn't see anything.
And just turn around and walk back?
Save him his dignity. But the fact was he was joking around. But Jerry
Hey,
got the best laugh
I
of
was
all.
gonna- I was
What
gonna-
were you thinking
I was
when
gonna
you saw
say,
my face?
But wait, you said leave him with his dignity. If you got a pup tent up like that, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah,
There's
For
a lot
one
to
thing,
be-
he wasn't just holding up sheets and stuff.
It was
Or whatever he was
it was
wearing.
comforter.
It was literally, yes, it was everything. That's
It was
pretty good.
everything. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome. And the bad part is that's not the worst thing Jerry's ever done to you.
It was like a 3-man tent.
The hands down. So
Guys, this was a huge banana. Like, I don't think we can really tell you.
like, I don't think you
it
got,
was a
I
really
don't-
big banana.
This was like a full
Like,
banana.
honestly-
Like I don't think you guys.
Honestly, I don't think Jerry had to eat the rest of the day. Like after he ate.
So if you guys tune in over on the Cameraman Ron channel, we've got a fishing video coming out. I'm not sure when this is going to drop, but I know the fishing video won't be out till sometime next week. We helped Caleb overcome one of his greatest fears.
No, you didn't.
I don't know that we helped him overcome it. We helped him face it, I should say, full on this week. So Caleb has a very, very, I will call it an irrational fear of sharks. So much to the point that like when we get in the water, like the four of us, Caleb will never, and I'm being serious about this, Caleb will never allow himself to be the furthest one from the beach. So if we're all four in the water, he is constantly in a constant state of mind of
Reminds me of something.
what?
When we were, that was my first
Oh,
time
I know.
being down.
Okay. That's what the
But
story
you-
I'm
But
going
let's
to
be
tell.
fair.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. If there is four of us, and this is where my ego really plays into this. If there are four options for a shark, I just feel like he's going to pick me. So I just kind of feel like, if I kind of hang back a little bit, I'm giving myself a chance, and at least I'll be able to go back and tell one of your,
Loved ones that were
Yeah.
gone. So,
Well, I'd like to be able to be able to tell you that, but-
Caleb is always the closest one to the beach. He will never allow himself to be further away than the other three of us. That's the truth. That's not a
it's
joke.
just smart.
So we were, I can't remember what year it was, but 2 or 3 years into the man trip, we all knew about Caleb's fear of sharks. I mean, there was no surprise of that. Well, Caleb and I were having a conversation, and Caleb was constantly like, for sake of simplicity, Caleb was looking west. I'm in front of Caleb. Well, Jerry like slipped off behind Caleb and managed to get about 15 or 20 foot away from him. Caleb's still just sitting there talking to me. We're talking about something. Jerry proceeds to go under the water and swims underwater like 10 or 15 foot, and he comes up and he bites Caleb's leg. Now, you have to understand when I say bites his leg, I'm not talking about grabbed him and then bit him. I'm talking about went in, hands behind the back, mouth open, and bit him.
Yep.
Caleb and I have always been the two fluffiest guys in this group. We don't shy away from that. We've never we've never.
Well, I always eat my feelings.
Yeah, we've never like tried to act like we were the skinny ones in this foursome here. So that day, a fat boy walked on water. I'm gonna tell you all that right now because when Jerry clamped down on Caleb's legs, I've never seen him move. It literally looked like he was running on top of the water to get back to the shore that day. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And that's the second friend that's betrayed me.
He's almost never gone back in.
Yeah, we didn't go back in, but it was because we don't get in the water much anymore. But it's just because of the fact that we've progressively gone. Why does she like you so much? What is happening over there? You got like catnip in your pants or something? Like I don't even know what's going on. So Mike never has any. Has he ever had anything bad happen to him on the man trip? Mike, have you ever had anything bad?
He's gotten sunburn like a lot.
Yeah, he has.
And I tell you,
sunburn.
if he just like opens his mouth and take a little sunscreen in every once in a while,
if he would have just eaten it like he should have.
yeah,
Well,
it gets in there. It gets in there deep.
I know Caleb trusted me once with another sunscreen story.
Yeah,
What was that? I don't know that one.
that one was
What he
like
told
just a
him?
series of bad choices.
Yeah. So we're on the 11th,
Was we?
or was it higher
Was that
than
that
Was it
25th
20?
floor?
I thought we was up on.
that
the
was
Yeah, we
20
were way up. That was
20
when we stayed at Calypso Tower.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
was up on the 25th floor.
Yeah, we were way up there.
Yeah. So anyway, we are us three, me, Jerry, and Dude. We are down at the pool, and Caleb's lagging behind because
That's what Caleb does.
sunscreen takes a little longer for me to apply it than
No, no. He didn't even start getting ready until after I think we left because that was Caleb back then.
Yeah. That was pre-dad Caleb.
Yeah. So we were down at the pool, and all of a sudden, after probably 15, 20 minutes after we were down there, Caleb finally strolled up, and he just kind of, I was out of the pool over by the towel at this time, and he kind of comes over to put his stuff down, and he's like,
I lay next to you, like they got the little lounges.
yeah, and he has to tell somebody.
Yeah, it's feeling bad.
I was just there, I guess. But he tells me that when he was putting on sunscreen out on the balcony, all the way up there where we were at, he
Why you
puts-
gotta say it that way, like all the way up there?
because
Because you could have killed somebody.
Exactly.
Foreshadowing.
So he puts the sunscreen on the railing of the balcony, which is round.
I was going to say for the record, which is rounded.
yeah,
And
it's
not
rounded.
even that wide.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's probably 2 inches, maybe.
Yeah.
My banana was bigger.
Yeah, way bigger.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
It was a big banana.
But anyway, Caleb knows that this is what he told me. He put the sunscreen up there, and then he immediately regretted his decision, and he was like, "Why did I do that?"
That's a bad decision.
Yeah, why did I do that? So he went to grab it, but instead he hurried up and knocked it off.
Yeah.
I hit it with my fingertip.
Yeah,
Just like,
instead of grabbing it.
and it's
So
not like it was recoverable.
And yeah, this is one of those deals where like if it had hit someone, like it legit could have hurt them because we're talking about the spray on sunscreen, which got sharp edges on them. If after falling 250 feet or whatever it is, if it had hit a child or something, you're talking about death. Like you could have killed somebody that day, like 100%.
Thank you.
So did you?
for that.
So
You make me feel so much better.
I know.
So to complete the story, did you make sure you didn't hit anybody?
No, I absolutely not. Because at this point, like when it went off, like into the there was a moment where I literally froze. Like my hand's right here, it's out, and it's like I know I can't get it back. It's just one of those things. Like that was a bad call. I was like, that's gonna fall off the edge, and then it just became true. And then I had choices, right? Like it's like there's nothing I can do. So sticking my head over the balcony. To
That
see if
just becomes incriminating at that point.
that point, like I gotta give my lawyer a chance. Like
I would at least try to yell, and if they looked up, I would have then turned and looked up further. Like,
yeah.
I blame it.
Like,
I think there wasn't many floors above us that year,
there's
so
only
we were
many
almost
people
yeah.
it could have been.
but
Yeah.
I wanted to look over anyway because I didn't go out on the balcony.
Yeah, Jerry does not do well with heights, so
No,
Yep. He almost passed out when we got there.
he did.
Jerry. Jerry almost passed
Yeah.
out.
So, and that's true. Jerry does not do well with heights whatsoever. And that particular place was Eclipso Towers down in Panama City Beach. Basically, when you walk off of the elevators onto the breezeway, it's just a wide open like railing. But you're 4 foot from like a 250-foot drop when you're up that high. And Jerry literally, when he stepped out of the elevator, he almost passed out because it was
his
just
knees buckled too.
yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, I was,
So,
I was reenacting Caleb when he came out of the bathroom, and
but
yeah.
to kind of bring
That
this,
was a big banana.
this particular story to like some sort of like understanding, and like I take life lessons for all the decisions I make, and I learned a couple that day. One, it's a bad idea to put the spray on the railing. I don't know why I needed to learn that, but I did. And the second one is that I thought Mike was like, I don't know, like a confessor or somebody I could tell something to. And
You were your priest.
yeah. And so that was the third friend that betrayed me. Like, because I tell him this stuff. I'm like,
I don't know if you would have learned your lesson if I didn't.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
I
you
was
got to
helping
know.
you.
now I might have a legal case brought against me.
Yeah,
but no, anyways,
we
like,
took comfort and solace in the fact
I
that
sit
no
down next to
ambulances
him
showed
though.
up.
I sit down next to him. I'm like, Mike, I got to tell you something. Like, and he's like,
Could
he
you
just-
believe the
Mike-
size of that banana?
Yeah, Mike just looks over at me, and Mike's just got this kind of like chill demeanor to him. Like he just looks over at me and just kind of gives me this dead look in his eyes, like, and he just starts slowly nodding his head. He's just like,
see, if you said that to me, I'd have been like, I know,
yeah,
I know, Caleb.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
but
did-
I look over at him and
you
he's
don't
just
have
like
to tell me.
nodding,
I know.
yeah, and I was just like I just
Oh,
tell him the
okay,
story.
Mike
I
did
just tell him the story, and then Mike's just like, yeah, and I don't think you really said anything to me, and then next thing I know, everybody's aware of it, like, and I was just like, did you ever see the movie The Wedding Crashers where the guy's like looking over at the priest? He's like, that was a confession.
Yeah, that was not for you to tell everyone. And I mean, I can't think off the top of my head anything really bad that's happened to Mike on the man trip. I mean, I feel like Mike's the reserved one of all of us for sure.
Mike's done funny things.
He's for sure done funny
Yeah, the first
things.
time I ever saw Mike dance was when we were in the pool
Oh,
at the thing,
yes.
and he there's like a waterfall.
in that song by
Carly Jepsen.
he still remembers the song.
And he danced, and he's
Call
just
Me
like,
Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. Yep, that's right.
and he's like dancing, and he's just kind of doing this thing, and he gets underneath the waterfall, and he acts like it's like, and he
Yeah,
just
he
goes
was-
down.
he's like
I
going-
died
It was
laughing.
cold. That pool was cold.
That
That
was,
pool was
it
cold.
was
Yeah.
like they had running. They eventually got it heated. Sarah and I went down like 1 year, like I don't know however many years ago it was now. I told Jerry, I'm like, bro, they got the pool. It's heated now, but it was a very, very cold pool. Even on like hot summer days where they had the waterfall running into it, it was just ice cold all the time, for sure.
What about the time
Oh.
Caleb and I was in the pool and you and Mike were over in the hot tub and you got talking with that one lady, and then when I came on over,
My wife's here. Shh. No, I'm just.
I came on over and you were like, watch this, and then Caleb came on over and said,
Yep, that was my first year down there too.
Yeah, that was your first year. We actually became Facebook friends with him, Melissa Montgomery. Like I'm still Facebook friends with her. I told her because earlier in the week, that was the same year that you and I had gotten touched by the grandma. And me and Mike had been sitting over there, and they were down there on their girls trip, and there was several of them, and we were just kind of chatting them up or whatever. And I told her, I'm like, when my buddy comes over here, I was like, can you mess with him? I'm like, can you just rub his chest? And she's like, heck yeah, I'll do that. I mean, they were married too. I mean, there was nothing going on. It was just complete friendliness is all it was.
Yeah, it was friendly.
Caleb came over and sat down. And Jerry and Caleb both came over. Jerry had no clue what was going on. Mike was over in the hot tub with me. As soon as Caleb sat down, she slid over real close to him and just started rubbing on his
I
chest.
didn't even notice her
And
at first.
Caleb's eyes got as big around as headlights. It was the most uncomfortable I think I'd ever seen you in my whole life.
Yeah, because I'm used to guys doing that.
Man, that was a big banana.
Yeah. It was a huge banana. It's so big.
I do know I don't know that it's necessarily a funny story on Mike, but it was one of the coolest moments him and I ever had. So this was the last year that I ever I wanted to kind of
seriously, the biggest banana I've ever seen.
Are you sure it was a banana?
I mean, I see.
Did you confirm that, or did you just go on his word?
I'll be honest with you. You ever seen one of those papaya plants?
It was something like that.
You're like, yeah, girthy.
So I kind of wanted to save, I know we're kind of drawing to the end here, and I kind of wanted to save this one till last. Guys, we've got so many of these. Like I said,
Do we want to talk about NASCAR? Can we get that on there?
That's no PG.
There's no PG
What if
version
we
of
tried?
that. There's no PG version of that. So
We can just try to, insinuate.
no. So something funny that did happen with Mike. I don't know what year it was, but I will tell you guys, I do remember it was the last year I ever drank on them, like seriously drink. So what we would always do when we were down there, we only had one night. It was, everybody thought we went on like, I don't know why people thought this, but they thought we went on this big drunk fest for 4 or 5 days or whatever we were there. And that's just never what it's been. It really has always been about enjoying each other's company. And we usually like either sit on the beach or the pool or the hot tub, and we just kind of kick back and like relax. 99% of the time, that's what we're doing. But every year on Friday night, especially when we were down in Panama City Beach, all of us was a little bit younger than obviously. On Friday night, we would go out and we would kind of tie one on. I mean, we did it, every year. That's just kind of how we did it. And it was really the only night on the whole trip that we drank here, regardless of how long we were there. Well, this particular night, we had gotten down a couple days early. If I remember correctly, that was the year we drove overnight on Tuesday night. We got down early Wednesday morning. We fished, and then we ended up like just chilling that day. Well, Thursday we went out and we got some beer. I kind of drank beer throughout the day, and I never got a buzz. And I felt like it was because we were being so active. I got full. I didn't want to drink anymore, but I didn't have a buzz. So on Friday when we roll around, I tell Caleb, right next door, actually connected to the karaoke bar, is a packaged liquor store. So I tell Caleb, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get a pint of Crown Royal, and I'm going to take a couple shots of Crown Royal, get a little bit of buzz going, and then just like do beer to level us out throughout the night.
And a couple of shots was like the pint.
Well, we ended up going over there, and I got a pint. Caleb got a pint. Well, we went back to the hotel room, and one thing led to another, and we drank the whole pint.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the other thing.
No. So we leave the hotel. There was a palm tree and a Volkswagen Beetle that both was violated, maybe, by me, headed over to Sweet Dreams Karaoke Bar, but that's a story for another day. All in good fun. And I guess, as you guys know, I do enjoy doing karaoke. I'm not a terrible singer. There are plenty of people out there better than me, but there are definitely some worse people out there than me as well. And I guess that night, I was just like, I was in a zone. We got to the bar. I'll never forget it. Mike bought the first round. We when we go on the man trip, we would just take turns. Like each time one of us would go up there, we'd buy 4 beers, and that's how we'd like work the tab. And yeah, or you were whatever you were drinking, like rum and Coke or whatever it was way back then. But anyways, cool. Yeah. So
hard cider.
Our hard cider. I think you did. Yeah, you're doing the Angry Orchards maybe. So Mike went and got the first round, and I started singing. And for some reason that night,
do you remember the song you sang?
I don't remember the first song, but
I don't remember the first one, but I remember the best one.
I remember that was the first night I ever sang "Stroking" in public.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just one of those nights where I guess my song choice was on. I guess my performance was on because people started buying us drinks. And I remember about not even probably an hour into the night, I come off the stage and Bud Light Platinum had just come out. It was like, that was the drink of choice back then. And I walked down and they had round tabletops there, probably the ones that are about twice as big as this. And I look at our table and it's covered with Bud Light Platinum bottles. And I look at Mike and I'm like, bro, have we drank this much? And Mike looks at me and he's like, no. He's like, they're all full. And I'm like, what? And he's like, people won't stop bringing beer bottles to our table. They're buying us drinks because of you. They're bringing alcohol. And I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. So at this point, my plan was going fairly well. I was still in full control. Everything that I had planned to do was working. I did have a buzz. I was drinking some Bud Lights and some beer to keep the buzz going. And then someone talked me into singing "Stroking." I got up there and I sang "Stroking."
You talked yourself into that. Like,
no, that's not true. Somebody put that song in for me. I was not even the one that turned that song in.
I didn't put it in, but I did suggest it.
Okay, because I was going to say, I was not even the one that turned that song in. I get up there, I do it. As soon as I walk off the stage, Caleb is waiting there for me. I remember this vividly. I don't even know why you were there, but you were right there.
Well, we went
and this
together.
lady from Alabama came up. She was missing a couple of her teeth. That's no knock on Alabamans. This is 100% a true story. Like, if you don't believe me, ask anybody else there. They'll tell you she didn't have all her teeth. And she had this tray of these little purple drinks We found out later they're called Purple Nurples. If anybody ever offers you a bar, just say no. Just it's like drugs, kids. Just say no.
Or say yes.
Or if you
did.
want to have the greatest night of your life, just say yes.
And not remember it.
So I'm like, of course, at this point I'm inebriated. Don't take alcohol from strangers. That's another solid rule.
Unless
But
you
I
wanna
just
have an awesome time.
but almost awesome time.
almost,
But
yeah.
we're gonna get to that here in a minute. So, but I take this little Purple Nurple and I drink it, and I look right. Caleb is right in front of me. I'm zoned in on Caleb, and I'm like, bro, they don't even have alcohol in them. We are good. So I think she has bought one of these shots for me. No, she bought the whole tray for me. So I take it back to our table. Did you drink one of those? Did you drink one? Okay, so I know Jerry did not have. Jerry was our level-headed one. Jerry always like 1 or 2 drink minimum when we were doing the hard ciders, or maximum. Sorry, and that was it. Jerry was like the designated walker to make sure everybody got back over to the hotel. I don't remember much after the Purple Nurples. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I called Sarah. I'm always open and honest with the PYT. I tell her everything. I'm like, hey, I just want you to know. I woke up this morning. There's a lot of pictures on my phone. I'm like, I'm not sure what happened. I was like, there are parts of last night that I don't remember, but I did wake up in my own bed today. Caleb
I woke up in Cincinnati.
Caleb woke up in Cincinnati, Ohio, because his wife was getting her master's degree at the time, and he had to catch a plane at like 3 a.m. The last thing I remember, well, I'm sorry. I'll let you tell the part about the bathroom. I told you guys in the beginning that most bad things that happen to me in the bathroom, and I feel like your perspective of that story is going to be much better than mine. We're back at the hotel room at this point.
No,
let's say that.
let's just we leave the bar, and the sounds coming out of you are just amazing. Like we walk across the street. It's just 2 lanes, and we're across, and he is like we're walking to the hotel, and he's just giggling
Manically.
Yeah, just.
It was a good night.
It was a
great
great
night.
Yeah, and he's living it right then and there again. Like, and we get across, and I know I got to. It's like what, like 1.
Yeah,
one?
at this point you're 2 hours from your flight.
Yeah,
from needing to be at the airport.
I need to be at the airport, and I have to catch a flight, and I got to go to Atlanta, and I make a connection that goes to Cincinnati. So it's like and I've been drinking, and I'm pretty much just drunk, but I'm not like I think as bad off as you were.
Probably not.
So it's like I gotta sober up. So I decided like there's no point trying to go to bed. I'll miss my flight if I go to sleep now. I'm not gonna wake up. So at least until the flight's gone, and I have to be at the graduation. So
our whole man trip depended on him making that flight.
yeah, she was a little sore, and I was like, I might not make it. Like I had to get a flight. So and I wanted to do the man trip. So we get back to the hotel room, and I go down. He goes to the hotel room. I go down to the hot tub. I'm like, I think I'm just gonna try to get some water and stuff in me and try to sober up. And I get this idea in my head that it would be a great thing to do is just drink coffee. So I get up, I go to the room, and I walk in, and all I hear, I'm like getting ready to walk past the bathroom.
And the bathroom's right inside the front door.
The door's flat, really just wide open. And all I hear is, "Don't look at me. Don't look at me." And I'm like, of course I look.
Because he thought it might have been a big banana.
Like, it was a huge banana. But I walk by, and I just look in, and I mean, just the shame, and he deserved it, like, to be honest, like, because of what he did with the bear. Like, it was just.
Are we going back to that again? So basically, just to wrap this up, or not wrap it up,
no,
but
I'm not done. I look in there, and he's like on the toilet, and again, of course, in crazy fashion, he had to use the bathroom because he's been drinking, so of course he's got to take a poop. And then not only is that, but he got sick, and he threw up into his underwear on the ground, and he's just sitting there holding his hand up, other hand trying to gather whatever dignity he has left and say, "Don't look at me. Don't look at me." And you know what the funniest part about that is how the day began. He got a new pair of underwear that morning, and he was like, "These underwear are nice." He's like, "These are so nice."
Remember that.
And if underwear had feelings, like the fact that it started off that way and it ended that way for the pair of underwear, that's the real tragedy. A brand new pair of underwear, unsalvageable.
They were.
Yeah. So, anyways, I go in there, like, I'm pretty much like, I can't deal with his problems right now because I got my own stuff.
I've got my own issues.
I make my coffee. I couldn't find a cup, so I brought the whole pot with me and sat around the hot tub. And of course, everybody's out there like, "You brought that with you?" And it's just like,
you're like, what else would I bring?
I was like, I'm not in the point right now where I can make a lot of great decisions. So I'm only making the best ones I can. And I think that might be the end of that. I don't know.
But Caleb made his flight. He made it back to
I
Cincinnati.
didn't pick
but
up a dang thing of mine either. Like I
next
strung
morning-
everything that I owned out.
Yeah,
And
we
I
had to
was
clean
on
up
a-
after you because we weren't leaving until Sunday. He
I
flew
don't even
home
know
on
if I
Saturday
ever
morning.
got all my stuff back, to be honest.
You
with
may not have. But one of the funniest
have a
parts
few
about
things.
that, it was
I thought my underwear were missing.
yeah, exactly. One of the funny things about that was, honestly, like the day on that Friday, we had met two couples. We always we're super friendly, and again, like when we go out and we do the man trip, we always run into people, and we just chill at the pool in the hot tub. So inevitably, we meet people, and we had met these two couples from Alabama, and two things had happened with them. We just kind of talked them up all day, and we became friends with them throughout the day. And they're like, "Yeah, we don't know what we're going to do tonight." And we were like, "Hey, you should come over to the karaoke bar right across the street. We always have a great time on Friday night. It's awesome." So they were sitting with us. So the next day, when I woke up the next morning, like I literally woke up in bed. I do not remember getting in bed. I told Mike I didn't. When I woke up and Mike was laying over in the bed next to me. I just looked at him and I'm like, did you all have to put me in bed? Because in my mind, I'm like, if they had to put me in bed, I'm never going to live this down. Like this is the end. And Mike's like, no, when we got back from the hot tub, you were in the bed. And I was like, thank goodness. Like, I'm so happy to hear that. So we gather ourselves. Well, it was probably 11:30 when we finally got moving that day. And we went down, we got in the hot tub. About 2 or 3 minutes literally after we get in the hot tub, these two couples that had been hanging out with us the night before come down and they sit in the hot tub beside us. Nobody says a word, okay? For like the first 10 minutes we're all down there, nobody says a word. And then all of a sudden, the girl from one of the two couples, I don't remember the name, and she was like, she just looked at me and she's like, I will never, ever have to worry about what it's like to hang out with a rock star. She's like, because it can't be any different than hanging out with y'all last night. She's like, we never bought a single drop of alcohol. She's like, we were probably drunker than we've ever been in our whole life. And then her boyfriend chimes in, and he was like, yeah. He was like, you remember that toothless girl that bought you those drinks? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, man, he's like, one time you was up there singing karaoke. He said, she grabbed me, and he was kind of a little guy. He said, she grabbed me and drugged me out on the dance floor and spun around and said, I swear she had one butt cheek wrapped around me on this side and one cheek wrapped around me on this side. And she was just squeezing me. He said, it was almost awesome. So we have always said if we ever write a book about our endeavors, we will call that book, It Was Almost Awesome.
And anyways, that banana, I think it was like about that.
Oh my gosh, guys, that's all we got for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, I just wanted to sit down with my buddies, tell you guys a couple of our war stories. We have a great time hanging out together. We always do. Thank you guys for sitting in with me.
And if you want to hear the story about the time he took me to a race,
yeah, we're gonna
leave a like, make a comment saying you want to hear it, and subscribe.
I appreciate that. You definitely nailed that. We did have a funny NASCAR story that I don't know that we could tell that ever on the channel. Man.
Well, let's let them decide that.
If you guys want to hear the NASCAR story, leave a comment down below. Maybe we'll do a short, very, very censored version.
I will give you a highlight. It is a case of mistaken identity. I don't know if you know, but we are cousins, first cousins. And it was a severe case of.
You're giving him too much.
You can't stop him. He's already started.
Yeah.
He's not going
All
to
right,
stop.
let's
So
get
you're
into
gonna have
it.
All right, guys, that's all we got for you
No
today.
banana.
There was no bananas there, but there was a lot. Well, there was no bananas, but there was a. We're not going to say that word, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We truly appreciate
a banana.
We truly appreciate you guys, each and every one of you, for tuning into the Morning Vibe. I know this is a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to leave it all together. I didn't want you guys to have to wait. If you're not subscribed to the Morning Vibe, make sure you smash that subscribe button like I smashed those underwear that night when I was sitting on a toilet. I can't wait to see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.